And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda ji commences tonight's satsang with the Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with Mystic Song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Heavenly Bliss, Unfold. In the cave of my heart, O vision of celestial sight, like the blooming of lotus flowers and the soft wind of spring showers. Oh, heavenly bliss, unfold, unfold, like the flooding light of the moon, or the cool rain on a rose in bloom. I have fled the wintry nights and the dark with present memories. I will see the rising of the radiant sun on the golden mountains of wisdom. No fear, a glory untold. Behold the secret of eternity. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda ji in Miami, Florida. Today is June the 15th, 2021, Sunday evening, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 344. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda ji.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Nirvana Prakarana, and here we are, section 96. Kumbha Muni, who is Queen Chudala, continues to impart wisdom to her husband, King Shikhidwaja, but all incognito. But what's most important is the wisdom that she is imparting. Section 96, negation of the world process. First you have to understand what does it imply, negation of the world process. It doesn't require too much to work for, to understand. Every day, at least for 6 to 12 hours, you are out of this world. So that reality, that's the absolute reality, that's become the overpowering reality in your daily life. When that happens, you have attained Sahaja Samadhi. Seeing that King Shikhidwaja was attaining Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Kumbha Muni enlightened the king regarding the art of negating the world process without forceful withdrawal of the senses. In order to be in Saj Samadhi, Saj Samadhi is a spontaneous awareness of what you were in deep sleep, so unconcerned, unaffected. The same you are at all times. Because you are Atman, Brahman. Kumbha Muni said, O king, you are awakened from the sleep of ignorance. It doesn't matter whether the objects continue to exist or not. They cannot induce ignorance in you. So many things exist in your house, in your business, in your daily life. But it doesn't matter how many things you have to attend to. You go to sleep, leap into it, and completely go beyond. So that happens at one time, or whenever you go to sleep. In Sahaj Samadhi, that room of your mind, that quarter of your mind, is ever yours. You abide in that innermost quarter of deep sleep. Other quarters, you just look around, come back and go back to your deep sleep state. Deep sleep is just like you are always comfortable in your house, having a central house where you rest profoundly. So this is a resting point in your personality. And that resting point is ever present. That is the resting is called Vishram. Vish plus Ram. Vish is pravish, to enter. Ram, that's Brahman. So, Vishram karo. Rest in Brahman. The realization of Brahman negates the illusion of the world once and forever. Therefore, when you wake up from your dream, all things that you went through in your dream are understood to be illusory. And you don't want to go back into this dream. Sometimes you may do that by to do it through a dull-wit mind. You are dreaming and you had a good dream. Suddenly wake up. I want to go back to it. But if you are really awakened, there is no need to go back to an illusory world. And as long as there is a sense of reality of the world, you are working hard how to not to be affected by the world, how to be detached. And in that stage, practice of yoga in different levels, lower samadhi, higher samadhi, all the idea of practicing samadhi, that practicing samadhi subsides. Samadhi movement becomes spontaneous. You don't have to practice it. When you wake up from your dream, you don't practice waking up. You are awakened. I'm talking in that particular context. There is no need to abide in nirvikalpa samadhi in order to rise above the world. You are the absolute self at all times. She is directing your attention to Sahaja Samadhi. King Shikhidwaja asked, for the intensification of my knowledge, I would like to know what sustains the knowledge of our relative existence. Shikhidwaja wants to have more clarification for his intensification of Sahaj Samadhi. What will secure staying rooted in Sahaj Samadhi? How to move away from the world of diversity, multiplicity. Kumbhakarna, rather, Kumbha Muni, replied, O king, the self is subtler than the subtlest. Now this is the basis of vichar, atma vichar. Who am I? Create a relaxed disposition of your body and mind and allow affirmation to enter in your mental process. Move away from your body problems. Move away from your family problems. Move away from your business problems. Move away from all monkey business. And sit on the swing of affirmation and allow the affirmation. What is the affirmation? I am the self. What does it mean? I'm subtler than the subtlest. That means look around you, no matter whatever you are looking. It's all made up of subtlest elements, subtlest particles, arthanamatras. I am that subtle state. I am the Sutratma. I am the thread that goes through all that exists. So you don't have enemies. You don't have of things that can give you misery. But you are alone, yourself, permeating the entire universe. While thinking of permeating the universe may seem like a gigantic exercise for the mind. But think of your sleep. The universe didn't exist. You are the all-permeating reality. So I am subtler than the subtlest and greater than the greatest. And we look at the world in a different angle. Things are so dimensional, so gigantic. But no matter how gigantic, even millions of light years are nothing in the immensity of the world process. And that world process is a drop in the bucket of pure consciousness. And I am that pure consciousness. The entire cosmos appears like a dust particle before the majesty of the self. The entire cosmos, a dust particle. Your entire dream, where does it exist? In the dust particle of your mental process. The only difference between air and wind is that the former is motionless and the latter is in motion. The wind is everywhere, but in putting another way, air is everywhere. But you feel the wind only when there is a motion in that air. So it is motion that brings emotion into your mind. Move away from the motion. The motion directs your attention to a limited condition. Think of the ocean. Ocean is all over, but a wave is ocean in a motion. You are essentially all permeating, but caught in emotion, you are in motion. In the same way, there is no difference between the self and the ego principle operating in a person. Ego principle is a wave. Millions of waves in the ocean. Consider them like millions of jivas surging, sustained by divine self, ocean. Millions of souls sustained by Brahman, the Absolute. Just as one could say that the sky sustains the expansion of the blue, so the self can be described as a sustainer of the relativity of human consciousness. Human consciousness versus absolute consciousness. Absolute consciousness is the sky. Human consciousness, the appearance of the blue in it. The blue in the sky. It stops your vision from infinity of the space, infinity of the sky. The sky is full, Purnam, but all that you see is your vision turns limited. It stays with the blue. Nothing wrong with the blue. These are all allegorical descriptions. But the same blueness of the sky is transcended by your telescopes, microscopes. The same way your Jnana Drishti eliminates the blueness. Self can be described as the sustainer of the relativity of human consciousness. When ignorance is removed, the self alone is. Section 97. Pure consciousness is the reality behind all names and forms. Pure consciousness is prajnanam, prajnanam Brahma. And you are essentially Chaitanya, pure awareness. Not awareness of that which is transient. You are always mixed up. Pure awareness in you mixes up with relative awareness. Pure awareness, just like you see in the ocean, whatever is happening in the ocean brings about the story of waves, how one wave fights against another wave, how waves go into a whirlpool, and there is so millions of troubles with the ocean. But every wave is nothing but the ocean. While dreaming, you are caught into different circumstances of adversity and prosperity, gain and loss, joy and sorrow. But the entire dream of yours is sustained by the waking consciousness. Here again reminding you of bhav pratyaya and pratyaya bhav. Relative consciousness is bhav pratyaya, the presence of projections. Just like in a film show, screen is ever the same, but the projected films go on giving you countless stories, story after story, projection within projections, dream within dream. But no matter how many projections, millions and trillions go on, the screen remains untouched. That reality of yours, the real I am, is the screen, where bhav pratyaya is transcended. That's called pratyaya bhav. Pratyaya, awareness, relative awareness, that becomes absent. Show becomes absent. The screen alone exists. The world is superimposed on consciousness, just as projections in a moving picture are superimposed on a screen. Without consciousness, there is no experience of the world of multiplicity. Every experience, no matter how limited or faulty, is sustained by pure consciousness. Whatever dances before one's eyes is in fact the self performing various acts of illusion. The ego sense and the world are illusory appearances on the self. Ahamta, mamata, the sense of I-ness. And that's the root source of the disease of the world process. And even the root of the ahamta, mamata is avidya, ignorance. So led by ignorance, you are trapped by the illusion of this is me, I am body, mind, intellect, ego. And that type of movement is ahamta movement. And then you are drawn to things are mine. These people are my relatives, friends. How wonderful. Where are their pictures? When they were born and how we have gone through. I'm giving you all the details. But then you go after your enemies. Those who are very loving, they have become inimical. You go through their stories. So the world of mamata is a vast forest of entangling, thorning trees. And all the world experience is an extension of ahamta and mamata. Therefore, every mantra directs your attention to nama. Nama to cast out both. That's the spiritual project. Neither ahamta nor mamata. First cast out ahamta. Mamata will vanish automatically. But in your sadhana movement, work upon both. Develop vairagya, anasakti, so that you reduce your mamata. And while you are reducing your mamata, go on working upon who am I? Reduce your ahamta. Success comes when you have impacted upon your ahamta, egoism. If you have impacted upon mamata without impacting upon ahamta, it will be a superficial attainment. Because ahamta will restore whatever you have negated. Without the ego sense, the chitta cannot exist. The ego sense is ahanta, ahamta. It is ahamkar. Aham, as it is wonderful. But entering into a car becomes the basis of vast trouble. Ahamkar. I'm joking. So get out of the car. Get out of the distractions, mala and vikshepa. Without the ego sense, the vasanas cannot be formed in one's consciousness. You get into your car, ahamkar means ego that is dominated by ignorance, avidya, agyan. Ego itself is a result of avidya. Egoism is a result of avidya. Without avidya, you are just the I am. Through avidya or ignorance, you are egoism, ahamta. And ahamta is the support for formation of vasanas. Lots of subtle desires collect in your unconscious, led by ahamta. In turn, those subtle desires go on supporting ahamta. So there is a kind of relationship of assisting each other. Vasana is supplement-complement relationship between ahamta and vasanas. And vasanas support your mind and the impurities of your mind. In a spiritual project, with the cessation of the mind, you bring about manonash. When panonash happens, then mala, vikshepa and avarana, these three move away. Mala, gross impurity. Vikshepa is subtle impurity in the form of vasanas. Avarana is the veiling caused by ignorance. They move away. And what is left is absolute Chaitanya. Ahamkar, out of kar. It's absolute aham. That aham is non-dual, infinity, purnam, full. With the cessation of the world process, there is no need for worry and grief. In brief, if you want to be free of grief, you have no other choice but to deal with the virus of mortality. Mrityu bhaya. And attain immortality, the state of amritatva. You are yourself, that pure consciousness. You are Brahman. This again is the base to help affirmation. You are Brahman, taintless. No karmas can touch you. Nothing can limit you. The sun appears to be trapped and limited through so many illuminations and reflections in the water. Every pot seems to have trapped the sun. But that's only in Maya, only in the realm of illusion. The sun remains taintless. So are you, pure consciousness, taintless, causeless, beginningless, eternal, and infinite. Though non-dual, you appear in many forms. With the effacement of the illusory universe, you alone exist as Brahman. Section 98, negation of the chitta. Kumbhamuni continued. The chitta, the whole mental process, the whole mind, has no real existence in the three periods of time. In fact, it is chitta that creates the illusion of time, space, and causation. It is a product of ignorance. Therefore, with the advent of knowledge, it disappears. Chitta is transcended. Since the world itself does not exist, how can the chitta, which forms a part of the world process, exist? The world is false. Therefore, the vasanas arising due to the objects of the world are illusory. Vasanas are subtle desires to hold on to the world that is physical world. But physical world will not exist if physical world is recognized as illusory. Your vasanas will disappear. When vasanas disappear, your egoism, free of distractions, turns into pure I am. That I am is absolute Brahman. When the apparent reality of the vasanas is effaced, the chitta is also negated. Atman is the underlying substratum of all illusory projections of the world process. The world shines due to cosmic illusion, which has its basis in the self. In fact, there is neither this world nor the chitta. In the light of intuitive knowledge, the world is false. Jagat mithya. Brahma satyam. Brahman is truth. The world is false. The soul is essentially Brahman. There is no multiplicity or duality in existence. This is the conclusive statement of the scriptures. In the next section, 99, Kumbh continues to enlighten Shikhidwaja. King Shikhidwaja said, O sage, my delusion is dispelled by your grace. I have discovered and understood my true identity. My doubts have dissolved. My intellect is steady. I am established in the self. Now you are being highlighted the characteristics of enlightenment. Shikhidwaja is enlightened. And what he is telling refers to characteristics. And characteristic of enlightenment, the most important characteristic is one who is enlightened is free of three great obstacles, three erroneous bhavanas, sanshaya bhavana, asambhavana, and viparita bhavana. Sanshaya means doubt. That type of feeling that constantly works upon doubt after doubt, doubtlessly. And next is asambhavana. When your mind is filled with impressions of doubt. Doubt creates debility of your willpower, and mind becomes crowded. Now, when you look at the whole project, it becomes impossible. Sense of impossibility enters. If you have to clean up a garage where you can handle few of the cluttering objects, that you can figure out a whole project. But when you see it is so vast, then you simply shut the door. Asambhav. I can't do it. And viparita bhavana arises out of an extreme dull wit. You don't even know what you are working for. You are seeing your face in a mirror. And someone asks, have you seen my mirror? You look around. Mirror is right in front of you. You have been seeing it, your face. But you are not aware that what you are seeing, first you are seeing is the mirror. Next you are seeing anything else. First you are aware of awareness. First you are aware of your essential nature. That's absolute. Anything else is a projection on the screen of your pure awareness. So, can you separate pure awareness from relative awareness? Relative awareness is always an expression of pure awareness. Every wave is an expression of the ocean. So looking at a wave, you should not get confused. What has happened to the ocean? And get into unnecessary emotion. And get trapped by commotion. I have known all that is to be known. I have attained supreme silence, Paramon. I have crossed the ocean of the world process. I am peaceful. I am not this ego self. Now I exist beyond all the modifications of the not self. All these are to support affirmations, paving the way to enlightenment. I had wandered through the world process for a long time, but now I am resting in the imperishable abode of the self. I have attained Param Vishram, having entered into Brahman. Again, the statement entering into Brahman is just like the statement, a reflected sun with water dried up has entered the sun. It's figurative. Kumbh Muni replied, O king, your statement is perfectly true. This world of I, you, and diverse mental concepts, this world does not exist. By repeating the mental process, that sustains the idea I am the body, one becomes bound by constant deha chintan, asserting dehadhyas, I am the body. When we say body, it relates to your body, senses, mind, intellect, unconscious. All this is body. 5 sheets and 3 bodies. And mind completely engrossed always with this body identity that intensifies your ignorance. On the other hand, reverse the process of begin to intensify. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the senses, I am not the ego, I am not the unconscious. But by developing the mental process that sustains the idea, I am not the body, one attains liberation. And with this we will conclude for now. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras, grace of God over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Amritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
And we conclude for tonight and join Swamiji tomorrow, Wednesday at 7:30.